Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are working on just a few random projects around the garden that I want to get done. We're starting out here in the Dirtlands to plant out some feverfew and artichoke seedlings. And I have been working, you can see right behind me, I've been working on planting out some other seedlings in the little pockets of time I get in the evenings. The kids and I were out here last night planting out a different variety of feverfew. We just didn't get all the feverfew done. We've got Gomphrena, Rudbeckia, and then all of our dahlias. I'd also like to show you how some of our other crops are doing out here. When we're done, we're going to plant up a couple of containers, the big urns on either side of our dumpster enclosure. We have a tulip tree to plant in the new flower bed next to the barn. And then when we're done with that, we are going to talk hose reels because Hoselink recently came out with a 100-foot hose reel. Aaron bought one because he noticed there were quite a number of questions from you guys about our thoughts and how they compare pros and cons, that sort of thing. So he actually filmed a little comparison, Hoselink versus Vego, a few weeks ago. And then it kind of got lost in the shuffle. We got sick and then it got really busy, but we thought we would include what he filmed later on in this video, and then we will share some of our thoughts on it. Anyway, a nice full day. So what we've got here are the magic single feverfew in our paper pots, and I'm really excited to show you what these paper pots are looking like right now. And what other variety? Lime green. Plants are looking awesome. And then we've got our artichokes, which we started way more than this, but I don't think I want to plant more than 24 artichoke plants. I'm going to plant out 1 flat of 12 of the Imperial and 1 flat of 12 of the Green Globe. And then I'm going to rehome all the rest of our artichoke plants because I do want to save some amount of space at the end of this row to direct seed some things. And I don't have any experience with the Imperial variety, but the Green Globe variety, we start these plants usually sometime in January, and we get tons of artichokes off of the Green Globes the first year. They don't winter over for us, but they're very easy to start from seed and very easy to grow. They like the full sun and the heat, and it's actually very warm today. So perfect day to get them planted out. Okay, so the feverfew, I just wanted to show you a close-up look. Now I haven't watered these today, so the paper pots are a little bit on the dry side, but we started these feverfew February 23rd. So these have been in these paper pots for 14 weeks. So if you ever wondered if these paper pots were strong enough and if they would hold up, they absolutely do. And let me get in here and show you. So you can just take them apart so easily. And all the interior ones are beautiful as well. Look at that. They're just gorgeous. And this is why I just love to grow in these things, because the roots are happy, the plants are happy, and they hold up beautifully. They come apart easily and they're just easy to plant. We just pop this whole thing down into the soil and the paper breaks down, eventually goes away. And we don't have to deal with any plastic pots and cleaning anything. Not that I clean my plastic pots, but you know, if you did, it would save you that step, and it also saves you the storage. So the only thing we save from year to year is our plastic tray, which has got a bunch of drainage / air holes on the bottom, keeps the plants really happy. So I've just been so thrilled with these, just love these. And they're 50 cell paper pots, so you can plant 50 plants in one tray. Okay, so you can see down here that we just ran a test on our drip tape because we just recently put this row in. And last night when we were planting the feverfew out, I did like every 6 or 8 inches apart. I think I'm gonna, with this next variety, go every 12. I think I should have spaced these a little bit more, but I guess it'll be an experiment. I'm not gonna take the time to replant this one. I'll just plant this next tray at a 12-inch spacing, and then the artichokes will go in at a 2-foot spacing. They get quite big. And before I plant these in, I will sprinkle some of the Biotone starter fertilizer, which is trapped under my drill right here. I'll sprinkle that on, and then we'll plant. And because this is tilled soil, they go in super easy. I don't have to dig. I just kind of scoot the soil out of the way, pop the seedling in, and move on. Got everything planted, the feverfew, the artichokes. I'm taking a little break in the shade. I need to go grab the water tank to water these plants in. The drip system is currently running, but I want to give them just a little bit extra today. Also, check this out. This is a neck fan that Aaron's parents got me for my birthday. It came in a set of 2. I don't even know what the brand is or any of that business. And when I opened it, Aaron's mom was like, okay, so this is kind of a weird gift, but I think that you will really like it. It's so awesome. It blows cold air all the way around the back of my neck. And then it has these fans right here that blow up into my face. So it really cools you off. I'm enjoying my neck fan out here.
Nice. Hey, do you want to go move that spruce?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll meet you over there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, So much for my break. They're ready to move a spruce out of one of those dumpster urns. I hate calling them a dumpster urn, the urn next to the dumpster. We gotta get that out of there in order to get fresh soil in so I can plant some flowers. We'll come back out here so I can show you the other crops in a little bit. Okay, so this is the spruce here. It's a Black Hills spruce. It's done beautifully in this urn, but it's time for a change. And the other one that we had on the other side didn't thrive. So anyway, do we have these in here all of last summer?
I think so.
Yeah,
or did you do it in the fall?
I didn't do it last fall for sure. I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping that we can just strap around it and it'll just lift right out.
Can I grab the other side of that?
Sure.
Okay, so this goes through here.
Okay. Make sure it's not pinching any branches. Hang on, Aaron, before you tighten it up. And we can just drop it nearby where we can dig a hole.
Okay.
Perfect.
Can I just set it in one theater?
Perfect. Okay, they are going to go attach the auger to the tractor, and we're going to use it to dig a hole for this one, as well as to widen out the hole that we dug for the tulip tree. But while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go get the water tank and head out and water our crops and give you an update on everything else. Otherwise, I will forget. I'm going to park in the shade of the ash tree so we don't stress this root ball out. There's some moisture in there, but I don't want to have it out in the sun. Well, we're going to have to wait on the water tank. Aaron's got it full of chelated iron water at the moment. So apparently today is chelated iron treatment day. Thankfully, the drips just turned on in that area, so it'll give them just enough water for now. And then I'll go back out later once I can put some clean water in the tank and give them a little bit more if they need it. But we're gonna run back out there anyway to look at the other stuff. This is looking pretty good. You can see the water coverage, and these drips have only been running for about 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere between there, not very long at all. So I think they'll get enough just for right now. And then, like I said, we'll come back out. So our artichokes are in roughly every 2 feet. And then these few, we've got them spaced every 12 inches. The next batch are a lot closer. And then we've got some raspberry gomphrena, the orange gomphrena. Then we've got 4, I think, different varieties of Rudbeckia. There's cherry brandy, Sahara, prairie sun, and orange fudge. And those go all the way to here. And then we've got our seed dahlias and then our tuber dahlias on the end. And I'm just gonna step over here so we can take a look at our potatoes and onions. They are looking so great, starting to bloom, which means they're starting to form tubers under there. Our onions are looking great as well. Really happy with the crop. So these here are red Pontiacs. Then we've got our huckleberry golds, their little walking path between. Then we've got our German butterballs right here, which honestly, those were the slowest, and I'm glad to see that they're pretty much all up. And then we've got our patch of ranunculus, which are slightly being overtaken by bindweed at the moment. And that's probably something I'll come out here later and take care of. Just kind of clean that out a little bit. And they're looking pretty thick, pretty good. There's some that are a little crispy, which is kind of weird. Ranunculus are a cool season flower, and I planted them really late, and I didn't do my same process that I normally do. Usually I pre-sprout them and pot some up and then plant them out. This year it was just kind of at the point where you either don't plant them or you soak the corms and just plant them straight in the ground, which is what I did. And I thought, well, we'll see what happens. They might come up and just fizzle out really quickly because of the heat. We do have a cool down coming next week, but it's supposed to be 99 degrees in 3 days. And I don't think they're gonna like that all that much, but we'll see. With the cool down, it might sustain them for a little bit longer and we might get some flowers. But we also do have the bindweed. Corn's looking awesome, nice and healthy. And then at the end of this row, we have our sunflowers, which came up beautifully, nice and thick. In fact, I need to come through some of these areas. I need to thin them out. That right there. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these vine crops. I won't show you all of the hills because they all look pretty much the same. I would say at this point we've got about 75% of them up. And then some I can see like a little bit of green coming through. There might be a few hills that I have to reseed because like I showed you a packet of Aspipian from Tuxpan, I think, variety that I'd had since like 2018 or 2019. And I put a lot of seeds in, we'll go check them in a minute. I put a lot of seeds in each hill, but they made us not come up. But here's our North Georgia Candy Roasters. No need to put 5 seeds. Well, I put 6 seeds apparently in that hill. Now, sometimes I'll thin them out, sometimes I won't. I probably will in this case, like, you know, maybe leave it to 3 or 4. But these are all looking really beautiful. Loving it. Winter Luxury Pumpkin right here, and so on and so forth. The other one I'm not seeing germination on are the Turk's Turban, which, you know, I'm trying to remember. I think I've had these seeds for a really long time too, and I may have had trouble germinating them the last time I tried planting them. So I might just go down to the garden center, grab some fresh seeds. We're early enough to where we still have time. Let's see, crickets. That's a Turk's Turban. That's a Turk's Turban, nothing. Oh, but see, we've got, oh no, this is not a Turk's Turban, that's a bindweed. Excellent, look at that. Ooh, look at these. This is a variety called One Too Many. Awesome. Yeah, Pipian from Tuxpan, I just don't know. Sometimes I root around in here to see if I can find any of the seeds to see how they're looking. Oh, wrong hole. Oh, over here. No, I see some green right there. Oh, we just need to be patient. That's the thing. Sometimes you don't want to be too hasty. Some just need a little bit more time, but that's exciting. Overall, I'm really happy with how everything is growing out here so far. So far, so good. Oh my goodness. And there's something about this type of gardening. Like, I love our manicured spaces and I love that. Like, that brings me peace. And I don't think I could do this kind of gardening everywhere, but just coming out to a spot and tilling up a piece of dirt, a piece of soil and tossing in seeds, come what may, it feels freeing in a way. Out here, I just really don't have really super high expectations. So everything that comes out great in this space, it just feels like like an extra huge win. And I don't know if you can see where the artichokes end, like right over here. We have this much more space to toss in some warm season flower seeds, which I'll probably be doing later on this evening or maybe tomorrow morning before the water turns on. It's not so easy to plant seeds when water is currently running. So before we plant up the urns by the dumpster, I think we're gonna tackle getting this tree in the ground. I don't want the roots to stay exposed for any longer than they have to. And we'll also plant the tulip tree next to the barn. And I think that's where Aaron and Paul went. They were having a hard time getting the hydraulics to connect for the auger. So we're gonna go check up on them and then get these trees planted. All right, this is the most unorganized video ever. We're not gonna plant the trees yet because it is lunchtime. Everybody needs to go eat lunch. I had a late breakfast, so I'm good. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to get these urns planted up. And I mean, these are just phenomenal urns. They're huge. These are the gallery scroll urns from Unique Stone, and they are the right scale for our beautiful, beautiful dumpster. I was gonna close the gates around it. We can enclose it, but to be quite honest, this is reality. We don't ever close it. Like, if we had some kind of a get together here or an event, we would close it so that nobody saw that lovely blue dumpster. But this is the reality. So I've got some beautiful things to plant in it. We're gonna put some fresh soil in after I fix the drip. I had to cut the drip tube in order to get the root ball out, so we'll do that first. And then we are gonna plant them with a purple fountain grass in the center, which I haven't done in a while, but I think it would be nice to have some really tall, beautiful vertical interest. And then we are gonna surround the purple fountain grass with Supertunia Bordeaux and Supertunia Saffron Finch. That's it, and it's going to be glorious. I'm so excited. And we can't forget our complimentary tealish blue color that will go with these. Beautiful color combo there. Okay, I've got all my drip stuff first. I'm going to go ahead and swap out the drip tube that's in this one already. Like, I didn't have to cut this, but it's clearly not working. It's clearly plugged or something. I don't know. It's hooked into our water line that waters our arborvitaes, so it doesn't run every day, but this soil doesn't feel like it's had moisture for a little while. I mean, there's a tiny bit down in there, but I'm just gonna go ahead because I have not swapped it out for a couple of years. I'm gonna cut on the supply line and put a new run of drip tube. So we'll just do one of these. I just walked over to the urn that's a little bit more empty because I thought, well, maybe this would be a good situation to put an aquapot insert in. Maybe I'll get Aaron's opinion on that, but I feel like when I'm using a grass, it's gonna need more room for roots. And these just aren't super huge reservoirs. Hey, I was thinking about these urns and whether or not I should use an aquapot insert. And this is a case I'm wondering if I shouldn't, because the reservoir isn't actually that big, and
No, it's pretty small.
I'm using a purple fountain grass in these, and I think it's going to need the root room over having a water reservoir. I just wanted to confirm that that was the right decision.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision because yeah, it's gonna need.
It's going to need more cool for the roots and more room for the roots to expand.
I wonder if we can trench a line over there just for those because we've got some open zones.
Well, they're connected into the arb line.
I know, but they need water. Like it's such a small reservoir, it's gonna need water every day. And if you're gonna plant grasses in there, that's gonna just suck up all the room in there.
So we would leave the ones that are connected to the arbs and then do a second one over here.
No, just have a dedicated one just for the urns.
Okay, well that can be a tomorrow thing.
We can
Okay.
figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye. Yeah, Aaron thinks that we should skip the aquapot insert on these as well because those grasses are just going to utilize all the soil they can get. Okay, so we've got a 1/2 inch coupler. I think I'm going to do like 15 emitters. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cut and plug. Oh, dang it. I'm so conditioned to cut at an angle. There we go. That one's done. Okay, I'm going to extend the supply line. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to hook up my drip line. So there we go. I'm going to leave this one flopped over the side until I get it filled up with soil, which I have right here. Perfect. Purple fountain grass usually gets about 3 feet tall and pretty darn wide, and it's a beautiful, beautiful plant, well, through the summer, but also for fall. There we go. Look at this. One plant. Amazing. Oh gosh. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at how pretty that mix is. Oh, and these will trail and fill in, and they will probably cover a good portion of the urn, but you'll still be able to see the bottom. I'm just really pleased with this mix. And here you can see them backed up. What a glorious view. Oh my goodness. There's the other one. And before we move too far from this location, I do have the little container with the flower-shaped topiary. I brought some Blue Moon Punch super bells over to plant around that. Aren't those gorgeous? Won't these be beautiful right here? I considered putting pink in with them. I brought the double smitten pink over here, which I love, but there's a lot of pink in this area, and we've got a chatalpa that blooms with some pink right behind this container. So I think that just having a purple accent would be really nice. And here's a bit of a closer look. You can see the flower topiary, which I do need to trim and kind of clean out. You know, it's got a little bit of brown inside the little petals here, which is not a big deal. It did push some new growth, and you can definitely tell what it is still. I think the purple super bells are beautiful. And then, like I said, we've got pink coming up right here. The chatalpa's already fixing to bloom beautifully. And then we've got a pink rose, and we've got pink checker bloom, pink weigela. On this side, we've got pink chatalpas, pink roses. My goodness, these are stunning. Oh, okay, so now I think that we're gonna be able to go plant the trees. I'm glad we squeezed in those 3 containers though. They look pretty. All right, here we are at the side of the barn. This is the east side, so it gets quite a lot of sun. What time is it right now, Aaron? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 in the afternoon, so you can see that it's just now barely getting a little bit of shade here. And what we want to do is plant this tulip tree, which grows 60 feet tall by 30 feet wide, pretty close, because we want to have sort of a canopy over this driveway just a little bit, and then over this lane just a little bit. And then also, Aaron is not fond of the roof here on the barn. What would you replace it with?
The roof?
Yeah.
Oh, I would probably
Like
do
just
like
shingles?
a metal, like a black metal roof.
Okay, so just not a silver metal roof.
It's like kind of a modern trend.
The black metal?
Yeah.
Why not just do shingles like our house?
My guess is that would be like wildly more expensive.
Oh.
Just a guess. I don't know.
I don't know what roofing. I know shakes are really expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should look into that.
Maybe we should. I don't know. It doesn't leak. That's the problem. Is that like I don't really want to spend money on replacing it because it doesn't leak. It's a
Sure.
good roof. But I don't like the way it looks.
You know, it's funny. This doesn't even clock in on my scale of caring.
Really?
Yeah. There's just certain things, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm good with planting something because I like to have green, pretty things to look at. So we're gonna have to limb this up significantly and kind of train it around the roof, which is completely fine.
But if it gets 60 feet tall, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Now, I imagine people are going to have concerns about how close we're putting this to the barn.
Sure.
Does that bother you at all?
Nope.
It doesn't bother me either.
We're not near septic. This barely has a foundation as it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's got
Well,
like
I mean,
footers, but
yeah.
yeah. It used to be a horse barn. It used to be dirt floor inside. So anyway, we're gonna position it, like I'm thinking, Aaron, like the trunk right here. We were trying to figure out exactly where to place this tree earlier, and to me it seemed like the hole was a little bit too far forward so that the tree didn't look like centered in this bed. I think if it's like right here, it's all fluffy all the way out here, Aaron.
Yeah.
So I think if we just scooped a little bit of this over, I say that like it's easy because I'm not the one with the shovel, thank you. And then, like from this angle, it'll be about right where Aaron is. I'm not super concerned about the windows or any of that. We just want to have it placed to where it's going to look right over the lanes. And then we were thinking of putting some sort of an evergreen, like a skinnier, more architectural evergreen in here to kind of cover the hose stuff over there. And that way it will cover it year round, which would be nice. And then we'll just fill in with stuff around it. And we are going to be doing a brick border as well. So you can see it just kind of starts at the corner of the barn and sweeps around and meets the other corner. And it keeps this area, I'm going to back way up. It'll be a nice backdrop right here, but you know, we've got nice open, easy curves to deal with when you're in a truck or if you've got even a trailer with a truck. Now, let me see if there's any other details I forgot. What zone is this again, a 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, hardy down to zone 5. Gets those tulip-like yellow flowers that are orange in the center.
Huge leaves. Look at that.
Yeah, and they turn yellow in the fall, right? Yellow, let's see. Yeah, yellow in fall. Anyway, we're gonna get this tree planted, and actually Paul and Aaron went out and planted the Black Hill spruce, and I'm gonna have to just go find it. They just said they were gonna pick a spot and plant it. My aunt and a couple of my cousin's kids came over this afternoon for a visit, so I took a little break. You guys, I love this tree right here. It
It's gonna
looks
be a good
so
shade tree.
good. It is going to be a great shade tree. Let me give you like the full range here. So yes, it grows 30 feet wide. So that means 15 feet from the center of the trunk both ways, which honestly, it's away from like the roof. What do you think? Like 4 feet right now. So we are going to have to be mindful of the limbs right here. So we'll just limb it way up and then let the rest of the canopy do its thing over the barn to kind of shroud it and mask it a bit. And then we'll let it grow its full width this way. Well, it's full width all the way the other direction,
Yeah.
180.
Well, we're gonna have to keep it limbed up on this side too because we drive around it.
Right, just a
You
little
know,
bit.
yeah.
Have a little bit of a like a lift in the canopy.
I know there's people watching though that are aghast at how close it is to the barn.
Got a little,
But it
do
doesn't really-
what you want to do, man.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
No, not me either. I think it's really awesome. I think we need to have a big structural tree right here. I think
Yeah.
it is just needed. So anyway, give you a look right here. It looks awesome. So, you know, in the end, I wasn't concerned about windows and stuff like that because we will be limiting it up so far that we'll probably, like if you imagine this thing being 60 feet tall, we're going to limit up to where you can see all the windows and you can get fully underneath it. And so we'll probably start the limbing process soonish.
Probably every year we'll be taking off limbs.
Well,
I'm
like right
guessing.
now, I want to take this one off. This one and probably this one, don't you think? That one's so low.
I don't know that it's really bothering anything at the current moment.
No, it really isn't.
I mean, I think, you know, there's something to be said for leaving it on so it can suck up as much energy from the sun as possible.
Sure.
So I'm not a proponent of cutting things off before their time, but I do like to make sure that you cut them off before they become an issue.
For me, it's the proportion. Like I wouldn't want to limit up to here and just have like this little lollipop at the top with a super long, like a long neck trunk. Anyway, I do feel like these bottom ones could come off though, and it would be really pretty.
Yeah.
Either way. So again, I kind of want to put a little evergreen right in here and then just fill in with stuff. I don't know. I almost feel like, Aaron, I could do like a hedge of hydrangeas back here because they'll be protected in the afternoon. And then front plant with a bunch of fun annuals for now.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be pretty? Because I've got those beautiful new Invincible, no, what are they? Hold on. Stormproof.
Uh-huh. You already planted some, didn't you?
No, I planted the Powerball.
Oh,
and those
okay.
are paniculata. So we've got an arborescens back there, a smooth hydrangea called Stormproof. They would look real pretty right here.
Yeah, let's do it.
And they would just come up right below the windows.
Yeah.
And then we could, I mean, you know, just for now. And then I've got tons of annuals I can fill in for this year, and then we won't have to make any decisions.
Yeah.
But I need to save a space here because I would like to put an evergreen in this season if we can find one. Do you want to show me where you put in that Black Hill spruce? Yeah. Oh, the chicken coop area is looking so pretty. Look at this. I really need to get some vinage going right here. Yeah. Is it in this half?
Yeah.
Okay. Keeping my eye out. Oh, right there. Oh, that's a great spot for it. Oh, look at that. There's some quail right at the base of it. Oh, quail
Getting
approved.
out of the sun, yeah.
Quail approved. How fun is that? So you guys, Black Hill spruce, I don't want to freak the birds out. They grow about, well, they can grow upwards of about 40 feet tall, 30 to 40, and 20 to 25 feet wide. So this is a perfect space to let it do its thing. But they're known for their like real slow growth, and they keep a very nice pyramidal shape. So this is a great spot to just let it do that. I really like the shape and the look of this tree. Look at that. It's like the perfect little Christmas tree out here. These are new candles this year right here. Look at that. So it's like not all that slow growing. I mean, we have other evergreens that put on more, but if they put on several inches like this, I think that's pretty good. I like it. Okay, so now we would like to play for you the comparison that Aaron did between the hose reels, and then we're gonna go find a nice shady spot and add some additional thoughts.
Hey guys, today I want to compare two different hose reels, the Hoselink 100 foot and the Vego Garden 100 foot. So Hoselink just recently came out with their 100 foot hose reel. They have a 50 footer, an 82 footer, and then now this 100 foot. Vego Garden also has a 100 foot hose reel. And I think they've also got like 130 or 135 foot as well as a 65 footer. So a lot of different sizes to choose from. Also, I'm going to try to keep this as unbiased as possible. We have worked with Hoselink in the past, like years ago. We don't now. We probably have around 25 to 30 Hoselinks on our property because we have a pretty good sized property. And I want to say that they've supplied us with maybe like 2 or 3 of those. So we have purchased the vast majority of them. I bought this one right here. In fact, I bought both of these. So I don't really have a dog in the fight at this point. Whichever one is better, I'm just, you know, it's my money. So whichever one is better is the one I'm gonna keep buying. One of the tests I wanna run is to see how fast we can fill up a 5-gallon bucket. So let me do that really quick with the 82 foot, just so I can get kind of a gauge. Now I get that every faucet's gonna be different, but if we test them all in the same one, it'll at least give us an idea. I'm using a Dram water wand, which is pretty common around here. We have a lot of these. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, start. Oh man, 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute and just a little over half a second. Okay, this is the 100 footer and I can tell this feels a lot smaller, the diameter of the hose. I think this is 1/2 inch. It comes with a mount like this that you can attach to a post, but our problem is that you can't go 360 with these. You know, they stop going this way and this way. So we prefer putting them on a 1-inch post, just like 1-inch EMT pipe you can get, you know, Home Depot or Lowe's. And just pound that into the ground, and then you can spin the whole thing 360 degrees, which is really nice. Okay, let's test the 100 foot. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're at a minute and there's just a little ways to go. Okay, a minute and 23 seconds, almost 24. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Definitely takes longer. Okay, the next thing I want to test on this is just pulling it out all the way and kind of gauging it to see how it feels. All right, that's all the way, and to be honest, I don't think that feels any harder to pull out than the 82 foot. The spring on this feels good. It's nice and tight, but it doesn't feel like it's super strong. Honestly, that feels really good. I can't really tell much of a difference pulling the 100 foot out versus the 82. One thing I've noticed with these longer hose reels, they tend to kink right here, right at this joint right here. And I'm really happy to see that this is strong enough and it's not bending, it's not wanting to kink right here with the Dram water wand. Yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, let's swap this out for the Vego. One thing I appreciate about the Vego is that it uses the same connection as the Hoselink. So if we want to just swap out a Vego with a Hoselink, we can do that using that same 1-inch pipe. Okay, let's do our bucket test. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. It looks like there's more water flow coming out. I guess we'll find out. Honestly, this is gonna come really close to the first Hoselink, the 82 footer. Okay. A minute and 4 seconds. That's really good. Okay, now I'm gonna pull this out, see how it feels. This one definitely takes more power to pull out. Not a significant amount, but definitely noticeable. This one feels okay at the bend right here. It feels a little bit floppier, and I'm afraid that if it were to sit in the sun for a while, that this would end up kinking right here. I think it would kink sooner than the Hoselink would. I don't know what the materials are that make this up. It does feel a little bit different and slightly floppier. Not a significant amount, but just some. Okay, this is the third time I'm recording this conclusion because I keep saying the wrong details. And I want to be as fair as possible to both Hoselink and Vego. I would recommend the 100 foot high flow Vego versus the 100 foot Hoselink, simply because Hoselink doesn't have a high flow version of their 100 foot. I like both companies, but I wouldn't recommend a non-high flow version from either one of them. I would simply just stick to the high flow versions because they water faster and you can get more water out quicker. I would also recommend that you just get whichever one is cheaper. I seem to always be able to find the Vegos, the high flow Vegos, cheaper than I can find the Hoselinks. It's interesting because the retail price of the Vego hose reels is actually higher than the Hoselink. However, it seems like Hoselink almost always charges retail. They have very few sales that they run, and the Vego is basically almost always on sale. And I don't know how, but I bought mine on Amazon, and I actually got my 100 foot for $195, which is like way cheaper than the retail price. So what I'll do is I'll put the prices, I'll put the Vego on this side, I'll put the Hoselink prices on this side. And that's pretty much my conclusion, is just get a high flow, whichever brand you choose. And if you can find one cheaper over the other, I would go with that one, because there aren't enough differences for me personally to recommend one over the other. I do want to say I don't know about longevity for the Vego, just because we haven't had that long. There's nothing about it that makes me think it's not going to last as long as the Hoselink, but you know, this is just one of those things where if they do break quickly on us, I'll let you guys know for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much my conclusion. Just get whichever one is cheaper, and I think you'll probably be happy. Okay, so hopefully I got the information out accurately. That is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.